Hi, welcome to Turning the Verge. I'm Krista Hart here at the historical Muckenthaler Cultural Center. I have with us today Logan Crow from Long Beach Cinematheque, who is the event organizer of the annual Zombie Walk in Long Beach. Hi, Logan. Thank you for coming today and joining us.
Thanks.
I just wanted to start off by getting some questions out of the way about the Long Beach Cinematheque. What can you tell us about that?
Sure. Long Beach Cinematheque is a nonprofit arts organization in Long Beach, California, that is dedicated to fostering the Long Beach film scene. It started about 3.5 years ago as a program called Mondo Celluloid, which means Beyond Film. There's a theater in Long Beach called the Art Theater. It's this gorgeous 380-seat Art Deco theater, and I always thought it'd be great to have a midnight series there. So we started programming midnight movies on 35mm prints.
Wow.
Under the name Mondo Celluloid. It started off monthly, then bi-weekly, and then we were doing it every week. So starting in 2009, we did a horror movie a week, cult cinema, just midnight movies that run the gamut from horror to John Waters to Baby Jane, like anything that was like a drive-in classic or a midnight classic.
Right.
And those became pretty popular. What we noticed is it started opening doors for us to be able to start bringing cinema to Long Beach and other avenues, matinees of classics, collaborations with museums. And as we started to expand that, I love cult cinema, I love horror cinema, I love that vibe, but I also love film in general.
Right.
So as we started to let's keep a focus on horror, but let's start to really look at what else we can do. The idea of sort of creating a more umbrella organization that sort of encapsulated Long Beach and film altogether hit us. So we created an umbrella organization called Long Beach Cinematheque with keeping Mondo Celluloid sort of as a program of that. So that's like our midnight.
Like a sub-program
exactly.
from that.
So Mondo Celluloid continues as sort of a cult cinema midnight program.
Wow.
We've got Cinemola, which is a program of Latin American films that we do at the Museum of Latin American Art. We've got a drive-in series, we've got movies on the beach, and all of those are under Long Beach Cinematheque.
Awesome. So it's been going on for 2 years now. So would you say that in the last 2 years, about how much has the crowd grown by percentage-wise?
It's grown strongly, but moreover, it's grown in terms of the types of people that are coming out. Because with the midnight films, it was very much the horror and college kids that were coming out, and it was a nice, strong group. But then we started to notice that as it started to progress, we started working in like rock movies or just cult classics like Baby Jane or Mommy Dearest. We started getting, sort of people with bringing their families, an older demographic, people in their 50s and 60s, and always with the sort of, hey, we love what you're doing, but this is so late. Can you do this earlier?
Right.
And
changing the schedule too.
Right. And so I looked at it as sort of a call to action. Like, there's people are responding to our midnight film, but are also sort of using it as a platform to sort of speak to a bigger issue, which is we don't have a film scene down here in general, beyond midnight films. We do not have classics. We don't have sort of avant-garde screenings. We don't have a drive-in. And sort of we got in a room and said, do we want to take that challenge on? And that's where all that has stemmed from. And it's been great. We launched a drive-in last month in downtown Long Beach on a large parking lot. We're going to keep that going.
Oh, great.
We got a couple more this month. The Zombie Walk event is our event. We're on our 4th year this year. We put a silent movie in a church. We're sort of getting creative as to activating spaces and thinking sort of outside of your traditional movie theater environment. Where can films go and where would be fun to see them and interesting, and also what are some spaces that could use a little bit of exposure that we could bring a film into to get the crowd in and sort of serve that dual purpose for Long Beach. So.
That's great. So you're
Thanks.
bringing a lot of awesome things to just the city of Long Beach in general, as far as arts and theater and all of that stuff. Where can we expect to have the next movie night in Long Beach? Do you have any dates set or times or anything that's coming up?
Yeah, we have this month alone. We have, so on October 22nd, which is Saturday, we're doing a drive-in screening of Army of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
That's at the Press Telegram lot, which is on Pine Avenue. The following Wednesday, which is the 26th, Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks, we're bringing him down to the Art Theater.
Really?
to with his new film Red State. So we're doing
Wow.
2 screenings of Red State, and he's going to do a Q&A after each. And then the following Friday, which is the 28th, we're doing Shaun of the Dead at the drive-in.
Right.
And it's the third Halloween we do Shaun of the Dead. It's sort of become a tradition. And
An awesome tradition, if I may say
thank
so
you.
myself.
It's an awesome film. I love that movie. And then the
Yes.
next day is the drive-in, is Zombie Walk.
Very good. Well, you have mentioned Zombie Walk, so I might as well go ahead and dive into that. Zombie Walk, you said, started 4 years ago. What gave you the idea to do a zombie walk? Why zombies?
You know, I personally love zombie films. I love the sort of the gamut that they run. I love that. I mean, you have a movie like 20 Days Later, which is just
Right.
terrifying. I mean, it's just heart-racing, intense,
Yes.
almost uncomfortably terrifying. And then you've got your Shaun of the Deads that are just so hilarious.
More comedic and
More comedic. You've got movies like the Romero classics that sort of worked as parables, if you will, satires on like Dawn of the Dead with commercialism and and Red Scare and stuff. I mean, they sort of seem to be able to work really well across different genres,
Right.
And they're fun. Zombie films can be really funny. Zombies in themselves can be really funny because they sort of lurch and so for me, it's fun. I had seen a lot of footage of zombie walks sort of around the world, and it's always fun to just see people, who wouldn't otherwise maybe go out into the middle of the street and act.
Right.
Literally go out into the middle of the street and act. And these aren't all actors. If you have 2,000 people walking down the street, these are not all actors. These are probably people who, for all intents and purposes, are doing their first public performance in their life,
Right.
But they do it. They put on makeup, they bring the kids, and they get creative. And so at the time that I did Zombie Walk 1, we had already programmed a screening of Night of the Living Dead, and we decided it would be fun to throw a zombie walk together just to promote it. So we just put the word out there, and it was a lot of fun. It was received very well, and that was in a March.
Oh,
And, yeah, that was
so
in the
it
middle of the
wasn't
year.
even in a Halloween season.
No, it was right in the middle of the year, and then buzz about it sort of came out, and people were like, "Hey, we missed this. We didn't know about it." So there's a lot of push. Can you do it in October for Halloween? So technically, Zombie Walks 1 and 2 happened in the same year.
Yeah.
And so we did Zombie Walk 2, which was October of 2009, and it was wonderful. It was great. And then last year, Zombie Walk 3 was just massive. I don't think anyone was expecting quite what was going to hit.
Just exploded.
Yeah, because we didn't really market it. We weren't shooting for any kind of world record. We were just doing it for fun. And it exploded. It really did, to the point where this year we are looking at breaking a world record, and we did get creative, and we're bringing in music for the first time. And yeah, so it's sort of expanded into a pretty big event.
Kind of becoming a big event as opposed to just a bunch of people getting together and kind of having a comfort zone to expose that love for zombies altogether.
Sure, because for
That's
us too,
great.
it's like, I have a really big sort of multimedia approach to a lot of the things I do, and I think that cinema, when complemented with live music, when complemented with art, you can sort of create an event out of things like that.
Definitely.
And so, we're using this year's Zombie Walk, where there's an art show involved called Zombie Art Show at a gallery. Live bands. Johnny Vatos from Oingo Boingo has assembled all the members minus Danny. Danny's got tinnitus, but he's assembled everyone else, and they have a new band that they call Johnny Vatos Tribute to Halloween. They're playing an after show. Potential Lunatics, which is an amazing band of teenagers from Long Beach. I mean, it's an amazing sort of mix of bands. Artists, vendors, makeup artists, beer gardens. We're sort of creating a sort of street fair out of it.
Definitely.
With the focal point being the zombie walk at the end of the night.
So I know that it's an all-public zombie walk, but I have heard rumors that there is a flash mob that goes on. Is that orchestrated by you guys, or does that just kind of happen?
No, it's actually, this is wonderful. We were contacted a few months ago by an organization called Thrill the World. And they have an LA chapter, but they're sort of a national organization that does nothing more than flash mobs. And I think all of which, if not the majority of which, are Michael Jackson-inspired flash mobs. I want to say all. That's their focus, and Michael's on their logo. And they contacted me because they have been working on trying to break a world record of their own, which is the largest choreographed Thriller dance. And they're doing it in various cities around the world, really, at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So they were, the reason they contacted me in the first place was, hey, we're doing this at 7 in LA, you're doing your thing at 8 in Long Beach, can we promote each other? And I just got a little sort of lofty. I'm like, where in LA? And they're like, oh, we're not sure yet. And I said, well, have you considered Long Beach? So we invited them down, showed them sort of where we're going to do our thing, invited them to join forces. So we ended up coupling. So we're going to have a Thriller dance at 7 p.m. And then our walk is at 8 p.m., but all on the same site. So if people want to dance, right at 7, all the speakers will start blaring Thriller, and everyone start dancing. And then we'll go back to the bands, and then at 8 o'clock we'll have our march. There's choreography for the dance at thrilltheworld.com, I believe it is. If not, and if I got that wrong, there's links on the zombiewalklb.com website. There's a little Michael Jackson's Thrill the World LA. If you click on that, it'll take people to the link, and then there's there's YouTube videos. There's photos. What do you call it? Word documents with step-by-steps. There's a bunch of different ways to learn the dance. Yeah,
that's great. So speaking of the world records, I know that you guys are going for one, and obviously Thrill the World is going for one. What is the requirement, or just the basis of the one that you're trying to break?
Seattle was at 4,700 and change, I think. I believe there's another city that stepped up afterwards, and they're at 9,000. So we've been shooting for 12 to 15,000.
So that's the number that we're going to try and reach this year.
Correct.
And so just knowing that figure this year, what's going to be your goal next year? Are you going to shoot for the stars next year? Or are you
We've
just
talked
stay
about
close
that.
To the
I don't know.
Record? I
don't know. I think that right now my feeling is if, when we break the record this year, it's people. What I love to see about these zombie walks is they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I had a meeting about this. So if we, when and if we break this record this year, it'll only be a few months before some other city does something amazing and gets 25,000 people. And then someone else is going to do, the next thing we're going to have hundreds of thousands of zombies somewhere in Rio de Janeiro, Right. I don't think I want to necessarily keep doing that because that's not our mission statement for one. We're a nonprofit film collective. So I think for this year, it just seemed like a fun challenge. Let's do it. Let's break the record.
And
then we'll keep zombie walks going, but not to that scale, not to that mania of
not to the extent
trying to get that many people. That's my feeling now. We'll see if that changes a few months from now, but right now I just feel like it's been fun and it'll be fun and we'll have an amazing crowd of people, but there was a sort of earthiness to the last few zombie walks that I'd like to get back to. I mean, certainly this one's going to be amazing, but it's sort of like the difference between a flash mob and a mass choreographed dance, which is it's great when you put something like that choreographed together and it's massive. But like I said, there's a earthiness to just the spontaneous 300, 400 person flash mob.
The organicness of it.
Right. That sometimes I guess gets missed a little bit. But, yeah.
Well, since I do know now that it is, like you said, it's more or less like a project. It's not going to be something you're looking for longevity from years to come. Let's just say that you guys move on from Zombie Walk and 10 years later, you have a cult following from even out of state where it's bringing people to Long Beach from out of state. Could we get something going where we could bring the Zombie Walk back?
Oh, I think I definitely want to do a Zombie Walk every year. I'm not saying that we're going to ditch Zombie Walk. It's been so much fun. I definitely want to keep it going annually. What I'm saying is I think to the scope where we went this year, which is let's smash a world record, 2-3 years from now when that world record is 300,000 people in Tokyo, that's not going to be a priority for me. We'll have a Zombie Walk and we'll make it fun and we'll make it sort of multicultural, like multimedia, art, music, and film, but and multicultural, but not to the level of everyone. So Tokyo's got 300,000. How are we going to beat that?
We're
I
not
think
looking
stops
for
this
world
year.
Zombie domination here.
Exactly. I think that stops this year. So.
Oh, great. So my next question is, I'm kind of going with the whole why zombies question, but my biggest thing is with the vampire craze that has happened since the beginning of all the Twilight things and all of the other movies and shows that have come out. I know you explained a little bit why zombies. Do you think that the craze with the comic book fans, I know Comic-Con and everybody that had The Walking Dead be released as a show last year kind of gave a lot more exposure to zombies in general. I know there is a cult following, but do you think that helped with you guys all happening around the same time with that show and the comic being released?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, because it was The Walking Dead, but there was also like Zombieland. There was an explosion of zombie comics, the Max Brooks books about surviving the zombie apocalypse. Zombies just sort of became huge and sort of, but also what was interesting to me is you have your, Twilight is a huge sensation.
Yes.
Okay. But you have your Twilight haters.
This is true.
It's hard to find a zombie hater. You know what I mean?
I haven't found one yet.
Yeah, it's
I
really
am a zombie
hard.
lover myself,
Right.
but I haven't found. I have, like you said, found a lot of vampire haters and the
Sure.
backlash to that. I just thought it was so huge that to go the different route and go with zombies, it seems right. It seems to make more sense. But I was just wondering if that was your take on it as well.
Yeah, well, what's interesting to me is we were having that conversation with someone, and someone was like, why do you think that is? And it's like, I don't know. I actually don't know why it is that people just sort of go nuts over zombies. So I can only answer for myself. There's a childlike element to them that's fun.
Very much.
You can
so.
literally crawl on the ground and be playful, as a zombie.
Right.
A vampire walk. To me, when I just immediately visualize that, I visualize something very sort of pomp and austere.
Very snobby.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. They're a million years old. They've lived a lot of life. They kind of have a certain stature to them. You don't.
Right.
I mean, as from Interview with the Vampire, Kirsten Dunst probably is the only 12-year-old vampire that you will ever see in pop culture at all. Otherwise, they're all very, old and they have a walk and a saunter. So zombies are just kind of.
Which is
milling
interesting
around.
because what you're describing just made me think about self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like vampires are self-aware, and I think maybe that's another bit of it is when you become a zombie, you just get to turn your brain off.
Yeah.
And there's no ego there anymore, and you just get to lurch and crawl or do whatever.
You're a one-track mind,
yeah.
and you're looking for brains, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And
So
whatever,
that's it.
you don't care how you look. You don't care, what you're wearing or, what people think about you.
And there's a lot to be said, too, for costuming and makeup.
Yes.
I think that, vampires are elegant, for the most part, obviously. But, they're elegant. And sure, you can have fun with costuming for a vampire. And if you're into costuming or steampunk, I would imagine the possibilities are endless. But with zombies, you can literally tear at your clothes. And people get really inventive. We've seen everything from... And our thing is, people are asking, like, how do you want us made up? And my answer is, like, whatever you want to do. Like, put some black polish under your eyes. You're a zombie.
Yeah.
Have fun, But I've seen people come out literally with missing eyes, missing limbs, carrying their own limbs in their teeth. And just getting really inventive with it. And it's such a blast. Like, to me, that's the most fun of it, is when I get to watch, like, everybody else and just be like, this is incredible, and I have nothing to do with that and this and that. And there are moments where the last 3 years where the event became organic and people brought in their own inspirations and their own ideas. And we had an anti-zombie truck that came out last year with, like, they had made fake grenade launchers and they had plastic machine guns, and they were,
So they were kind of on the other side of it.
Right, we had the
Which is
exactly. We had the
cool.
zombie hunters, and we had nothing to do with that. And that was so much fun to watch.
That's awesome. It's such a creative outlet, like you're saying, explaining that these people actually, I'm sure 364 days out of the year, they're not going to sit and make their faces up and find different ways to make plastic limbs and come to something like this. So it really, for those people, like the everyday Joe who goes to work 9 to 5, this is probably the biggest, most, funnest thing for them creatively to look forward to all year. Which leads me to my next question. I know you mentioned that you do have people doing makeup on site. So when people show up, do they just go and there's makeup artists and they sit in the chair and you guys make them up, or do they just come?
We invited makeup artists from people who just like have a little bit of experience all the way through to professionals to be able to come and sell makeup. So in other words, people are invited to come in their own makeup and usually do. But last year specifically, what I noticed is I had to get made up early because I was running the show.
Right.
And so a gentleman by the name of Brian Stock, who's a makeup artist, he assembled a team to come make me up and a few other people. And I just gave me an idea in my head. I said, I wonder if any of the other stores want to just maybe bring in a couple makeup artists and have them charge for makeup in case anybody wants to come have their makeup done. What happened is there were lines like out the door at these stores for people that were like, I would sooner come pay to get my makeup done. Specifically because a lot of those people, they weren't necessarily even going to the walk.
Right.
They were going to a party and like, cool, there's someone in town doing makeup for $40, $50, $20 if they just wanted something simple, up to $150. I think someone paid to literally have like glass coming out of their face and stuff like that. So we'll have them there for people to go to if they want to get their makeup.
It's accessible to them.
Exactly. We'll have a makeup village there. And what we're telling people is they're there, use them for whatever it is you're doing that Saturday night, because it's the Saturday before Halloween. We're certainly not the only game in town,
Right.
but they're welcome to come and get their makeup done. And the makeup itself, they'll pay whatever that makeup artist is charging for, but access to that section is free. There's no entrance to get to like the makeup of the vendors. That's all just free for the public to.
So the entire event is a free event.
The entire event's a free event. We do have an after party that's a ticketed event, and that's at this very massive parking lot. It's called Millworks Press Telegram Lot.
Okay.
It's on Pine Avenue between 6th and 7th. And that's where the main stage is going to go, where we're putting Johnny Vatos and Oingo Boingo. We're calling it the Dead Man's After Party.
Nice.
So Dead Man's After Party is a ticketed event. We're going to do a pre-show before. Yeah, Serena Riffle, who's an actress, she was in Showgirls. She's also a filmmaker. She's coming out to judge the world's sexiest zombie. So she'll be up on stage at 9 o'clock before Johnny Vatos and the guys from Boingo go on. She'll be up at 9 o'clock. We're going to probably have some other contests as well. Most grotesque zombie, most inventive zombie. But certainly we put it on her to judge the world's sexiest zombie. So she's going to judge world's sexiest zombie, male and female. We'll have prizes for that.
So it's both. Mm-hmm. So we'll have a 2011 World's Sexiest Zombie couple.
Sure, they may not arrive together,
but they will be
and they might leave together.
Yeah,
right. But Rena will judge that. And
well, I might have to enter that contest myself since I will be there this year.
Right on. And speaking of Rena, real quick, if I may, Rena's coming back. Rena, so she's in Showgirls.
Yes.
She's actually written and directed and stars in a sequel to Showgirls called Showgirls 2: Pennies from Heaven.
And when is that coming out?
We are premiering it November 9th in Long Beach. So she'll be out for that, and cast and crew as well at the Art Theater.
So we can expect to see Rena back again.
We'll have her
Thanksgiving. We will have her twice this year.
So she's great.
That's awesome. So, Logan, I wanted to ask you, we've obviously touched a lot of bases on the Zombie Walk. Where can everybody get more information on Zombie Walk?
Sure.
The website,
website for Zombie Walk specifically is zombiewalklb.com. So LB for Long Beach, zombiewalklb.com. Our master website is lbcinema.org.
Okay.
Again, LB for Long Beach, lbcinema.org. If you go to lbcinema.org, there are links for the Zombie Walk there that'll take you to the Zombie Walk website, and vice versa.
Great.
But those are our websites.
And what can we expect from you guys in the future? Are there any other ideas that you guys are cooking up, or are you guys just going to strictly focus on the Zombie Walk for now?
No, you know, we are going to continue our Cinemola program, which is Latin American films at the museum. Our next major event outside of Zombie Walk 5, right, next October, is we're working with a couple groups to resurrect the Long Beach Film Festival.
Great.
Long Beach deserves its own film festival, frankly, and you know, there are certainly festivals that happen around town, but I mean, it's sort of an all-encompassing, you know, week-long film fest that targets, you know, the goal being, you know, we've had meetings on this. Long Beach is a very, very, very eclectic town demographically, age-wise,
so. Culturally as well.
Yeah. So we're really, our focus is going to be to curate a film festival that reflects that diversity and that has, you know, a Samoan, a gay, youth, skate documentaries, just basically to really identify our groups and to present films that speak to those groups. We're working on launching that in 2013. But the work starts, you know, now.
Oh, yeah.
Now. So,
I know. Everything has to start years in preparation and stuff like that. Well, great. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to just getting the word out there about Cinematheque and about just Long Beach in general? Or?
No, I think, I mean, I appreciate the time you guys have taken. You've certainly covered a lot of bases. I would say with the Zombie Walk, we really, really are wanting to put Long Beach on the map by breaking the world record. So we're asking people, if you're coming, if you're interested, take the time, go on Facebook and invite your friends. It's been amazing to see people actually actively invite their friends. We have, I think it's at this point it's over 11,000 not yet responded, which means that people are actually inviting their friends, and it's neat. And every once in a while you'll see a wave of them. That number will go up, and the RSCPs will be like, "Hey, thanks for inviting me, Shirley. We'll be there." Or, "Oh, I'll be out of town that week, Frank." So it's like people are out there,
but they're still getting the seed is being planted. They know that this is going to be an annual event, and if they can't make it this year, they can always make it next year.
Exactly.
So they are getting the education on it, which leads me to my last. Well, I just want to say tons of thank yous on behalf of Turning the Verge and all of us here. We're so glad to have you out here and talk to us about Long Beach Cinematheque, all of the information as far as getting into the Zombie Walk on the 29th. If you just want to do a quick times and place, maybe even the address of where we can meet for the Zombie Walk so all of our viewers can jot that down.
Sure. Yeah, the official start time of the event is 2 p.m. That's when the first band goes on. We're going to have a stage at the Promenade in Long Beach. The address you want to shoot for is Congregation Ale House. It's right at the apex of where everything's starting. But it's Congregation Ale House. It's Broadway and Promenade in downtown Long Beach. There's a parking lot between 3rd and 4th on Pine Avenue. And all this information will be updated at zombiewalklb.com. But at 2 o'clock, vendors are ready, makeup artists are ready. Makeup artists will probably be ready earlier than that, but 2 is our official start time. Bands will start on the promenade stage. There's a lineup of bands all the way to 11 o'clock. People can enjoy those. It's all free. Come down. There'll be a beer garden. Get your makeup, look at the vendors, hang out, listen to the bands, have some drinks, have some food. And that'll just keep going throughout the day. At 7 o'clock is our Thriller Flash Mob. At 8 o'clock is the walk, which will go south on the promenade, and we'll have maps. And then at 9 o'clock, for those people who have tickets or want to purchase tickets for the Dead Man's After Party, that's up at 7th and Pine at the Press Telegram lot. And again, that's a ticketed event, but there is it's all ages event, but there will be a beer garden in there with ID, so it's all ages, but there'll be beer and food trucks, and then the bands. And then everything ends at 11:30.
And that's going to be on October 29th on Saturday?
Saturday, October 29th, 2011.
Well, again, thank you so much, Logan, for being here. And I want to thank all of our viewers here at Turning the Verge, and we will see you next time.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Like to be on the next episode of Turning the Verge? Well, visit our website at www.turningtheverge.com, and who knows, maybe I'll be interviewing you.
Logan, look good.